Yeah, this your host, Nick Waters, presents One for the Road, MMA Hotbox. You enjoy, leave a like, leave a subscribe, and make sure you keep one lit. We out here.
Now, the biggest topic today, the four words said most on May 27, 2020. Jon Jones arrested again. Again. This man cannot stop fucking up his career. Part of you wants to feel bad for him, but at some point, you're either going to fix it or you're not going to fix it. For those of you who haven't known, Jon Jones was arrested again for DWI and some other stuff, but the main part is the DWI. The other stuff is still speculatory at the moment, even though, we'll get into all of it. It's crazy. It's crazy how much this man has fucked up his career. I mean, the millions of dollars that he's lost when he could have spent $15,000 to $20,000 a year to just pay some driver to drive him around at night. $50,000 permanent driver. Jon Jones would have saved himself $1 just by spending $50,000 a year on a personal driver. So let's just jump into it. I don't want to just go over this recent incident because I think with overtime, we forget about everything else that has gone on. So I wanted to go over all the shit that Jon Jones has done in about a span of 11 to 12 years. It's a crazy amount of shit that he's dealt with and that he's caused. And, it's a sad story. It's like the Tom Brady of our sport, the Michael Jordan of our sport. I mean, the only person close to this type of fuck-ups, which is Tiger Woods, and he only had one really big fuck-up. And, I mean, the nigga was, come on. Who wouldn't fuck that up, right? So, Jon Jones, it's a little bit different story. I want to start from the bottom and just go all the way up to the incident today. So I want to bring it back to 2009 in December. Jon Jones versus Matt Hamill. For you that don't know the one loss on Jon Jones' career, it was due to DQ versus Matt Hamill for illegal 6 to 12 elbows, which is the dumbest rule in the world, but they are rules which he did not follow, and he got a DQ. Now that was the smallest and first blemish of Jon Jones' career. If you fast forward down to May 12th, 2020, Jon Jones crashes his Bentley into a pole, arrested for DWI. That's just the start of what becomes his criminal career. And, at that point in his career, you could chalk it up as a young guy, you know what I mean? Just, young, dumb, and full of cum, as they like to say. And, you can almost chalk it up to that. But then his shit starts to become more repetitive. You see 2 years or a couple months later, he was scheduled to fight, and the fight ended up getting canceled, and they tried to replace it with Chael Sonnen at the time, who Jon Jones ends up beating and murdering, by the way. He ends up putting it against Chael Sonnen. The fight doesn't go through. I mean, in hindsight, it wasn't too big of a deal. But at the time, the UFC was really hurting. They needed the ratings at the time. It was supposed to be a big fight. It was like at the apex of Jon Jones' career. He hasn't really had too many fuck-ups at that point, so everybody was on his side still. And, he didn't take the fight. The card fell out, and it was the first time ever in a UFC event that a pay-per-view was canceled. So that set a bad precedent in people's mouth. And then you go 2 years down the line. Jon Jones gets caught up in the media for writing homophobic slurs to whatever. I'm not really gonna jump into that. That was a small thing. I don't, you know what I mean? It is what it is. 2015, fails a drug test for UFC 182, tested positive for essentially cocaine, shit they use to cook cocaine. And And, and that's just where it's like, okay, now the red light's on Jon Jones. Now we got to stop and look at him now. Now we got to see what the fuck is, what the issue is. Now it's starting to occur. We're getting a couple more problems now. And, a couple months later in August, same shit. Fails another drug test versus Daniel Cormier. And it's just like, when you get a list, like, look at all this. I mean, we're already through 5 instances. Gets caught again in Albuquerque, 2015. Hit and run. Of course, everybody remembers that. Hit and run. Hit a pregnant lady. Off-duty cop. Literally sieves the shit. Like, it just was never a good set for him. And, he runs away. He ends up coming back to the scene, trying to get money. It was just a whole fucked up situation. And it was really what started the dark cloud over Jon Jones' career. And what started to turn many fans like myself off of Jon Jones. Just because it's like, you're the goat of this shit, and you're just fucking throwing it away. And then, fast forward a little bit more, Jon Jones again gets into a fight with Daniel Cormier at the weigh-ins, or it wasn't technically a weigh-in. It was just like a media thing in the middle of one of the Vegas hotels, and DC pushes, Jon Jones throws a punch. Gets a little crazy. It was good promotion for the fight, but, you just got this list of crazy shit that he's just continuously does. Fast forward a couple months after that. Test is positive for 2 banned substances. It's just like, gets flagged up again. Then, fast forward to August 2017. Gets flagged again for doping violation by USADA. It's just like back to back to back to back. Like, he never gets it together. And the crazy thing about Jon that you almost gotta love is that he's just a crazy motherfucker. Like, when you see him talking to his interviews, he just says like, I'm using God to get me to the next place, and this is a thing that's gonna, God's just using this to test me. And it's like, goddamn, man. How many times you think God gonna fucking test you? Like, what the fuck? No, sir, man. Just gotta get your shit together. That, to quote DC, just get your shit together, Jon. And, fast forward a little bit later, Jon Jones ended up failing the drug test again. That was when he was supposed to fight Gustafsson. They ended up moving the card to Los Angeles because nobody in Las Vegas would authorize the fight. The Nevada State Athletic Commission would not authorize the fight. They wouldn't let the fight happen. They bring it over to LA. A whole bunch of fighters got pissed. Tons of money was wasted. A lot of people couldn't, they brought their family over there to Vegas to travel. They couldn't bring them over to LA. A lot of fans missed out on the fight. It was this big controversy over Jon. Nobody was compensated. Everybody was fucked over except for Jon Jones. Everybody else was fucked over, and then you fast forward a little bit again, July 21st, he gets hit up with a battery charge, and, in going back to, some shit with a waitress. I don't really want to dive into that. That shit ended up being dropped, but it's there. So, you know what I mean? What do you want to do with that? Just red flags. It's just where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's just fucking smoke. It's just crazy, man. And then let's get to the one today, or a couple days ago. So, Jon Jones, their police respond to shots fired, and they pull up. There's Jon Jones sitting in his car. They pull up on him. Blah blah blah. Can you you were drinking. I watch live PD every day. The number one thing to get a motherfucker with a DUI is when you ask them the question, and then you answer them in the way that's going to get you arrested. So the law doesn't say you can't drink a little bit and drive. It says you can't drink and drive. So they go, and everybody does this, who drinks and drives, is they go, oh, have you been drinking tonight? And Jon goes, yeah, I had one drink. And the cop goes, oh yeah? Of what? And he goes, vodka. Bruh. So, and then the cop's like, all right, whatever. Long story short, gets him out the fucking car. Has him tell, John immediately, oh yeah, I'm a family man. I was just out here helping the homeless people, trying to be a good man, just doing the same shit he does to the media, trying to do to these cops. Hey, cops like, look, I ain't hearing none of that shit. I need you to, run a couple tests. Jon Jones takes like 3 minutes to understand these fucking tests. It's a very simple test. It's walk on, the cops build an imaginary line. They say walk 9 steps with your hands by your side, turn around, and do another 9 steps back. Jon Jones starts saying how he has memory loss, how he has this and that, which some of that could be true, but it's just, it's not, you're already doing too much. And John does the test, he stops, and he looks so frail. A person with the striking that he has could barely hold a straight line. He gets to the fucking line, he starts bobbling around a little bit. Then he's like, stop, I gotta redo the test. Because I'm fucking it up. I got memory loss. I didn't remember your instructions. I wish I could make this shit up. So then the motherfucker goes back to the line, starts over again, walks 9 steps, and is counting them out, completely forgets that he has to walk backwards. Just walks straight up to the thing, just stops, holds his hands out, is fucking flimming back and forth. It was hard to watch, man. You just see a guy throwing away his fucking MMA career. His career in general. It's just fucking, it's sad to see. He's letting so many people down. He has kids. So many people look up to him. So many people counting on him. The fucking gym that he goes to, they revolve it around him. It's fucking insane. And then, they have him do a couple other tests. He fucking sucks at all the tests. You guys can go see the video. It's online. He fucks up all the tests. And then what gets to the sad part, man, is just the saddest part about it all, man, is that through it all, Jon Jones is a smart guy. And you could see in it that he knew he fucked up. He knew he fucked up. It was just sad to see, man. He gets to the cop car. Right before he gets to the cop car, he starts crying. And it's, karma's a bitch, man. He made fun of DC so much for crying. Well, who gets the last laugh? You know what I mean? It's crazy how that goes, karma's a bitch. And, he was crying in the back of a cop car, you know what I mean? And it's hard not to tear up watching this shit. Like, it's just sad to see. You just know what this motherfucker is throwing away. You just know it. And it's a sad time to see a fighter god damn, it's lockdown, for heaven's sake. You're supposed to be locked down. We're all locked down for the coronavirus. Nobody can leave anywhere. And this motherfucker still cannot, who knows about the gunshots? That's, they responded to gunshots. He had a pistol in his car. Well, what the fuck? Who knows, right? That shit will come out in time, I guess. But just taken away, even without the pistol and without all that shit, just a DWI, homie, get a fucking driver. John, if you see this, get a fucking driver. Holy shit, bro. It's just sad to see, man. Seeing a man like that throw away all that money, all that fame, all that respect. What do you do with him now? What do you do with the title? Who? I don't even want to think about that shit. What? He's gonna fight Dom now? It's crazy, man. It's a crazy time. Crazy time.